Welcome to Countdown to Infinity, a Marvel's Avengers podcast. We talk all things Marvel Cinematic Universe, including the movies and the TV shows. And we're smack dab in a little bit of a break, a rare lull in the MCU release schedule. So we are going to be talking about some MCU news, stuff that has come out recently about future projects and maybe some things that are a little bit closer to us right now. My name is Emmanuel, and we just finished talking She-Hulk and Werewolf by Night. So if you look on the feed, the last couple episodes, we're covering those Disney Plus releases. And next week, just days away from now, we will be able to talk about Black Panther 2 Wakanda Forever. That movie has already had its Hollywood premiere. Some reactions have been released already. It looks like the majority of them are incredibly positive. They talk about how epic the movie is. There are maybe some moments that are really emotional, highlighted by the new Rihanna song that was released in conjunction with the movie. You can get vibes from there. You won't get any spoilers from us before its release on November the 11th. So that's just really less than 2 weeks away. November 11th, you can watch Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Our next week's episode is actually going to be covering some of the, I guess, like the just the outlook or maybe a preview of Black Panther Wakanda Forever. We'll talk about some of the things about, you know, on screen, where we left the characters off, where we left Wakanda, and all of that. And then we'll also talk about probably one of the biggest missing pieces in Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and that's its star, Chadwick Boseman, who tragically passed away before this movie was even in production. So we'll see how they honor him. And a lot of people, and like myself included, probably more interested in that aspect than so much like of who the next Black Panther is. So I know that's kind of the big thing that people are dissecting from all the commercials, but we'll find out soon. And also we'll probably see a really jam-packed movie coming out just a couple of weeks away. So we're not going to talk about that too much because there's so much news, so much other stuff that to quickly fill you in on. We got a trailer this week for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. That's a movie that's going to be coming out in February 17th. That is just a couple months away now, less than 4 months away. We'll be watching this Ant-Man movie, but the third Ant-Man film will have the full returning cast. And in the trailer, you can see quite a bit of some newer characters, including, you know, we see Bill Murray in the trailer. We see a lot of the quantum realm, which I believe most of the movie is set in. It seems like they're setting up some more of that Young Avenger stuff because we see a fully realized Cassie Lang, who I assume is more of a major character in this than she had been in the other Ant-Man films. We already talked about the quantum realm a little bit. There's some specific artifacts. Without talking about what this prop is or what this MacGuffin is, we do see the Forever Crystal, and that's all we'll say. Google it if you want to find out more. But you got Kang the Conqueror, Jonathan Majors, and he says, I can get you home and give you more time if you help me. So there's a lot that I think we're going to see from his character. There's also the announcement recently that William Jackson Harper from The Good Place, Chidi, is now cast in the movie or is in a mystery role in this movie. A lot of speculation that he's Mr. Fantastic, but who knows? Just a cool addition to that role. I think there's a lot that we haven't seen yet. Of course, we've only seen one trailer for this, but Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Watch that trailer if you'd like to, and pause it a couple times because you're going to see some really wild stuff. Kind of a new world for Marvel to be in the quantum realm, and it's kind of insane that Paul Rudd and Ant-Man, you know, they're like one of the mainstay signature Avengers now that exists in the world, especially after Iron Man and Captain America. Now that they're kind of off screen, Ant-Man's back for his third movie. Kind of crazy, and those are always really fun too and family friendly. So Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, watch that trailer. There's also some non-trailer news, including the announcement that Jack Schaefer, the head writer of WandaVision, is teaming up with Paul Bettany again for a show called Vision Quest. Now, there's nothing out for this, but we do know that at the end of WandaVision, there were two visions. Okay, yeah, two visions. There's Real Vision and then White Vision. And if you remember what or who White Vision is, it's a version of Vision without memories, without emotion. So it's just like kind of a mechanical representation of Vision. And he's in the world, White Vision. So I assume that he is what Vision Quest is about, but that's kind of a fun title too. It kind of goes along with WandaVision, Vision Quest, two words put together, which makes a compound word. But it is. It seems like it's going to be really fun, and who knows if Wanda Maximoff is in it at all. But that's coming. There are no dates or anything like that. Just an announcement that we are getting a spinoff show from WandaVision, and it's not the only spinoff. Because remember, Agatha got her own show too that we will be seeing very, very soon. That one's kind of already starting to wrap up. But Vision Quest, look out for that at some point. We also got confirmation of a sequel. And even though this, the MCU does sequels all the time, this is specifically a sequel to The Eternals, which when it released, and it part of it is, I think, is a COVID thing, but it's a very different kind of Marvel movie. But and it was kind of divisive. And a lot of people had polarizing views on the film and its tone, and maybe some of the things that happen in it. But no confirmations before this, but the producer of that film says that it's not the last that we've seen of the Eternals. Now, I don't know if that's really a sequel confirmation, but if you remember, Eros and Pip the Troll were introduced at the very end. Harry Styles playing some of those, a character that we might see more of. And then, of course, like the Celestials, all that stuff. There's definitely some loose ends in the Eternals movies, or at least in the story. So that'll be exciting if we get Eternals 2. There's also rumors that Chloe Zhao is coming back too. So we could get, everything right back on track and Eternals being added to the mix. But if that does happen, it's going to be a long time from now. But we will see. That's exciting. So Eternals 2 coming soon. Now there was other trailer news, and this was a holiday themed trailer. We got the first trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy, the holiday special. This is something that everyone's really excited about, especially after Werewolf by Night, which was kind of their Halloween special. But the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, is directed by James Gunn. The full cast of the Guardians of the Galaxy is in it, and in the trailer we see that they're trying to cheer up Peter Quill, Quinn, like a Quinjet. They're trying to cheer up Peter by, wait, what? Now I'm really confused. Star-Lord. They try to cheer up Star-Lord by, going to Earth. I think Yondu is in this, so it may not all be in the present. Might be some flashbacks in it. And Kevin Bacon is in this, so that'll be really fun, I think, to have some of the meta, the Hollywood stuff in this too. James Gunn said, although the holiday special is a standalone story, it contains a lot of new facts about what the Guardians have been up for all these years. So that'll be really fun. And it's the holidays, and I think that the Guardians is kind of works for everyone in the family, so it'll be nice to see that, especially around the holiday time in late December. In December, so we'll be watching that. Watch the trailer; it's really funny. And finally, the last bit of news isn't so much even Marvel related. It's just really big, and there's a reason why it was kind of right after the Guardians of the Galaxy story. It's because over the last week, it was announced that James Gunn, the filmmaker who made Guardians of the Galaxy, and the Suicide Squad and a bunch of other stuff, and Peter Safran, a well-known producer who has produced, the Conjuring films, a lot of DC movies at Warner Brothers. So James Gunn and Peter Safran, they have both been announced as co-CEO and co-chairman of DC Studios. I wouldn't even say a rival, just another source for superhero stories. DC Studios, which has been looking for a long time for a new, I guess, captain there. I know that the CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery had been looking for a quote-unquote Kevin Feige type, and it's been a long search, but I think it'll be really interesting to see James Gunn, who is seemingly going to kind of control the creative aspects and maybe a lot of the writing and maybe some of the editing and long-term storytelling for DC, and Peter Safran, who has been just super experienced at management companies. They're both going to run DC Studios. So I think a lot of people are really excited to have kind of a new look and maybe a new focus to DC. It's going to take a while, though, because, when I checked, there are 13 DC films that are going to be released from now till 2026. And that's all stuff that's been announced in production, maybe already with release dates and coming out. So it's going to be a while. So those 13 films, I guess James Gunn and Peter Safran can tweak, but they can't do much. So we won't see the effects of what they're going to be working on or moving forward with for a long time. But it'll be really interesting. And then also there's a lot of fun tidbits. James Gunn said that he wasn't going to stop directing movies. So I don't remember ever hearing of like a studio president or the guy in charge of a studio also making movies at the same time. So that's interesting. So James Gunn's going to keep directing films, and also, across, and at Marvel, a lot of those guys are going to be really interested that James Gunn's over there, including the president of Marvel Studios himself, Kevin Feige, who said that he'd be the first in line to see a James Gunn film. A lot of people want the two to finally meet at some point, Marvel and DC. That's kind of wild if it does happen, but who knows? So all of that is the news for the last week. Thanks for listening. You can always support the pod at patreon.com/delphinpod, DELFINPOD. It helps us do this every single week. And then you can also follow us on social media at DelphinPod as well. So this was a very special, quick news episode of Countdown to Infinity. Next week, we will have a preview for Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and then we will have a ton of episodes. We'll probably have a spoiler-free review, a spoiler-full review here as well for Black Panther. So hopefully you have your tickets already. It's going to be really exciting. A new MCU movie is always a good time. But thanks so much for listening this week. We will see you next week. Bye.